Hey everybody, this is our next video of our new project. We're going to be doing Zentangles. So some of you have heard of them before, you might have even done them in my class, but I picked Zentangles because they are a lot of fun just to kind of sit around and do. They are very easy patterns, shapes. You're not doing anything really too hard, but we're doing it in repetition. So it does take a little bit longer. So that's why you don't have any sketches this week. You're just going to be working on your Zentangles. So I'm going to show you how to get a page started. You really can do any kind of project with Zentangles, but this project, I figured we would just pick easy lines, shapes, things like that to fill in. So here is some of our examples. The starter pages here. We're going to be doing circles, straight lines, wavy lines, things like that. And this will be something that it could look like at the end. You see all kinds of the different patterns. A lot of the different patterns you can find on underneath your assignment. I've attached about 5 of them, and then I've attached a couple other pictures to help you get started. So what I want to show you is how to do your starter page. So what we're going to do now is remember we talked about drawing tools. You can use any kind of drawing tools that you have around your house. First, let's start with a ruler, or remember a straight edge with your paper, a pencil, anything like that. And we can just do straight lines, right? And it doesn't have to be anything. You can kind of make a pattern or a design of some sort, or you don't have to. It can just be kind of random. So here are just some random lines, just placed any and everywhere you can think of, because what we're actually doing is we're going to be filling each section. So you don't want humongous sections, you want medium sections so that you can fill them in with certain Zentangle patterns. Okay, so you can make them any kind of shape you want. These kind of are turning out to be more of like triangles, and that's okay too. So this one here is pretty big. Sorry, I'm getting a little off center here with my camera. There we go. So you can, like I said, move it around, you know, do some horizontal, do some vertical, diagonal, whatever you'd like. Oops. And if they're not perfectly straight, that's okay, but we don't want like jaggedy lines. You know, we want nice, smooth lines. One thing about Zentangles are that you need to be nice and neat. So we're going to be focusing on craftsmanship. Craftsmanship, remember, is how something is made, nice and neat. Okay, so say this would be a good starter page, and then you can start filling in with examples. So let's see, I'm looking at my computer. Let's do circles. Sometimes circles, like little bubbles, and see how I'm taking my time. I'm not going like some of you guys I know will, right? Zentangles is all about those nice clean lines, okay? So what you need to do is take your time to fill this in. I've posted on the assignment page, you are not to do this in one sitting or one day. Start it and then put it down, do other things, pick it back up, right? Do it while you're watching TV. Take your time with it. And it should be a lot of fun because it's kind of a therapeutic kind of art, okay? So then when we fill up the whole little section, what you can do is fill in the background, okay? And make those circles white, or you could do the opposite and fill in the circles black and have your background white, right? So there's many different ways. And again, I've attached some examples, but if you would like to look up your own online, all you have to do is Google Zentangle. Sometimes you can say Zentangles for beginners and they'll give you some step-by-steps. Okay, so here's another example of how to do it. You can do wavy lines. And remember, even if we're doing wavy lines, you're still going to be nice and neat and take your time. So we're going to do wavy lines. And the reason why we're doing this is we're making these sections that we can fill with the patterns. Now, some I saw online were really cool is that they made their lines thick. And so they wanted, at the end, they wanted to leave it white, like this. So then they have almost like a ribbon that went through. So you can do it that way, or you can just do straight lines. Okay, it's up to you. You can do kind of weird shapes. Right, it doesn't really have to have a rhyme or reason, right? All we're worried about is that you're making sections that you can fill in with those patterns, okay? So that was another example. This one is pretty cool, is that you can take a circle. Remember, if you don't have a compass or anything like that, find something that you can make a circle with. And all you're doing is doing different types of circles. Oop, my circle is a little off because I was doing it with one hand. But with this, which is really cool, is that you can kind of overlap those circles. So not only do you have the circles, but you have the space in between. So you can make different types of circles. You can do different sizes, right? If you're gonna do a bigger one. And remember, if you don't have anything that you can really do a circle with, remember, you can draw your own circle by doing kind of like a cross, making those arches like this. Okay, and then once you're done, you can erase it, and remember, you can always kind of edit your lines. Now, with this Zentangle, you don't want these messy lines that I just drew. I was just drawing it that way so I could get the right shape. Now that I have the right shape, I'm gonna go back and make it nice and neat, okay? Remember, neatness is the key to these Zentangles. And then you can always go back and erase those other lines. That's why we draw lightly, so you can go back and erase. Okay, so here we go. Now I can go back and erase the other little lines. Now, Zentangles are often done with kind of a black marker or even adding different colors. I want you to do with a pencil first, but then you can always trace, because why do I want you to do it with a pencil? Because see all these stray marks? That's what we're trying to avoid. If you make them with markers or anything else that you might use and you mess up, you can't erase it. So it's always best to start with a pencil, get those lines the way you want them, and then you could even go back and trace them. Okay, so I'm gonna speed this up just a hair, but remember, you don't have to keep the same size circles. You can do circles within circles. Okay, you can overlap them, but we want to make it where there's sections of each pattern that you choose. Okay, so again, here, remember, there's a little marks that I can erase. Anyway, so you can fill your whole page with this, or if you want to, you can even add straight lines, right? You can add wavy lines. You can pick one certain way where if you would want to do circles only, wavy lines only, straight lines only, or you could add them all together, which turns out pretty cool. Except you don't want to get too awful crazy because remember you are going to be filling them with patterns. So you want to fill the whole page, but don't get too small because remember you are going to be filling them with certain Zentangles that might be a little bit more complicated. Okay, so you can do it however you want, but remember the thing you need to remember is that you're doing this so you can fill in these sections. Okay, so remember when you're filling in your sections, you don't want too big of a gap or too big of a section like this guy here. So I would need to maybe make another straight line and see how I just did all that, right? So I just divided those into sections. And also remember that you are more than welcome to, if you don't want to have just these straight lines, if you want to kind of make borders for your sections for your Zentangles, remember you can double this up and leave it blank. Other than that, that's all you have to do. And then we fill it in. So looking back at my, my computer for examples, what you can do is do lines. And remember, you can be using black and white. That's mainly what we want to think about is black and white. And so think about different thicknesses. You can make these like thicker. We don't want plain Jane Zentangles. We want fun Zentangles, right? So you can make these thick. You can even do sections within lines, right? Make up your own if maybe you've used a lot that you don't want to use anymore, make up your own, okay? Remember to take it slow. We don't want to just start doing different shapes, but if they're not nice and straight, remember we want nice clean lines, okay? Even use your ruler, other traceable drawing tools you can use, stuff like this. So we would fill that whole section, and like I said, you can go back in and make your lines thicker, or you could even color in one of these, right? You can color in your triangles. And then even you can do the opposite triangles on this side, right? So even think of like tribal kind of patterns. We can do like tribal, some even like Egyptian, I think of Egyptian kind of, let's see here, sorry. There we go. Egyptian or even Greek. I think of Greek when I think of like these kind of symbols. Right, so look up some examples. Like I said, I have attached some, but also if you want to think of your own, you can. Think of like Native American kind of symbols. Any kind of stuff like that. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated. It can be simple like stripes. It can be circles like I showed you on before. You can do circles and then shapes inside the circles and color in one, right? So play around with it, have fun with this. Don't stress out too much. I want you to fill the whole page. That's why I say don't do it all in one sitting. Look at my examples. There are tens of thousands of millions of different types of Zentangles. So take your time, have fun with this. Maybe teach your parents or brothers and sisters to do their own. It's kind of a fun, just a downtime kind of activity. Again, on the Schoology, you'll find an example. You'll find all kinds of pages to help you out there. Okay? Alrighty, so again, if you have any questions, just ask, but do your best and take your time. Craftsmanship, neatness, all that good stuff. Okay? Until the next time, guys. Bye.